is trying to do Audacity for the audio capture, but she's also brought her camera to do the video capture. And Vicki is going to take some still pictures. I wouldn't be telling you all that, but that's all in here too. You know, if we don't try it, you never learn. You never get good at it, then I'm not very good at it. So thank you to the people who are helping today. So Crystal Pieri and I are going to try, between us, to do an overview of the things in your packet. You will find that she knows all the technical answers and I know none of those. And so I'll fill in around with some of the strategy and things that I've worked on. So we're ready to go? Okay. You'll find it's in 3 parts, and part 1 is a review of products. And I try to leave you enough space that you can make some notes about different products that you can sell online, because that's the thing that can extend your knowledge. You know, when you have done everything you can do one-to-one, you're delivering services by appointment or in groups, you are seeing clients, you are delivering perhaps consulting of some kind. Once you're finished and you're working 60 hours a week, there's no way to extend you except with products of different kinds. So it is a natural way for you to have additional revenue streams in addition to what you're doing personally. Okay? So go ahead.
And I want to jump in and say, if you're working 60 hours a week, don't let this be an additional burden. Okay, now I have to create products that I can figure out how to put online and sell also. If you're delivering for 60 hours a week, there's at least 1 hour in there that you can record or video record or somehow capture that and use that in your product to sell.
Right. So starting with books. Anybody in here published a book? Several of you. Any of you who have done something that we bring up, jump in and help us, because you've all done it a different way and you have experiences to share. So the good thing about publishing books these days is that you don't have to find a literary agent and a publisher. You can do self-publishing. And on the list of resources at the end, there's a whole section to check out on that to be able to not only find one of the print-on-demand publishers where you send them your digital files and they will produce one at a time when they're ordered. In addition, the ISBN number and the barcode that you have to have, which I understand is now going to be needed not only on your books, but on your CDs, DVDs, and other audio and video products that you want to sell as you would a book, for instance on Amazon. So you'll need that. You'll need the information that's on the back sheet. So anybody that did a book, was it print on demand?
Yes.
Yes. And did you like your print on demand supplier?
Yes, I use Lightning.
Lightning?
Yes.
Lightning? Okay. There's a couple others listed, Lulu and Create Space and whatever else I put on the extra page. Who else has printed a book? What did you use? No one else did print on demand? It's easier because I printed a book, but I had a literary agent, I had a publisher, and they named the book Streetwise. Anybody in here want to be Streetwise? Oh. It didn't occur to them women didn't want to buy a book called Streetwise. It was A Woman's Guide to Building a Business, and they did rename it.
Wrong kind of business. Oh.
I was lucky. I had a co-author who talked to them very nicely when I didn't want to talk nicely, and they renamed it Small Business Savvy, which I was very happy about. But if you do it by yourself, you don't have to worry about the editor taking out your best stuff, rearranging it, or giving you a title that you don't like. So the print-on-demand method will work well. That same book can be delivered as an ebook, right?
Which I highly recommend, because you have absolutely no overhead, except for if you take payment in some way. PayPal will take a percentage, or eJunkie will cost you a percentage each month. Ebooks, you can make corrections at any time and re-release the new and updated version, and it doesn't cost you anything. You can promote it. You can the profit is 100% yours. So, yay, ebooks.
Same thing can happen with some kind of an e-course. If you have a course that you're teaching in person, we'll use this one as an example. Might not be one we're going to do, but it's easy to see. We're standing here, we're explaining this, we're talking to you, you have an interest in whatever we know about the things on these pieces of paper. But if we capture that e-course and convert this into a workbook so that all the materials and instructions are there. Can even capture our audio to go with it, voiceover, whatever we want to say about each page, as though we were talking to you about each one of these items. And then that can be packaged and sold as a course. It can be delivered online, both the audio and the print portion of it.
The great thing with e-courses is it can be any combination of things that you want it to be. If you have the audio, great, you have the audio. If you want to then have it transcribed, you can just sell the transcription and the audio, and then you have an e-course, and maybe throw some questions in there. I've seen people, I've seen a lot of people online present products in a very unprofessional, very just throw it out their way. And I'm sure that none of you have any designs to do that. So I'm sure that anything you put out there will be 100% better than a lot of the stuff that I've seen.
Crystal, could you speak up just a little, because it's kind of flatlining
Well, it's
here.
not picking me up. Okay.
Thank you.
Can I toss out one thing on the courses? Digital Chalk is a great platform, but the credit card processing is built right into it, it's built courseware, so it's something we're working on.
Digital chalk.
Digital Chalk.
Okay.
Digital Chalk, what is it? It's kind of a e-course publishing platform. People that they accept payments or PayPal, they take their piece and they.
Good, good to know. Workbooks, some of you have workbooks, right? How many have a workbook? Some of you. So any kind of a workbook that you have that's available in hard copy can be delivered electronically from your website. Even with, there's a site that will actually capture the little picture on the front of it, and so they're actually putting the little, they'll make it look like a book, even if it isn't a book. This happens to have a semi-hard cover on it, but it may not even have that. Maybe it just looks like this, and it's just a stack of pieces of paper. But you can put a cover on it and put it on there, it'll look like a book, and then people can download it and print it themselves. So you can imagine, it's their ink, it's their paper, you had no cost in that, and yet the value is based on what it looks like. It looks like it's a valuable book.
Content is king, so what you're actually putting in it is way more important than how pretty it is or how you deliver it.
CDs, DVDs, anybody produced a DVD? Deborah Chaddick Brown has one, Julie Norman has one, where one of them, maybe both, Becky Osborne, the videographer, went to shoot them while they were delivering something that was significant, and then did the editing and put it on the CD, created the cover, and now it's ready. But that CD in its hard copy can be shipped, but it also can be delivered online.
Yes, it can be just a video or an audio download.
Anybody has done one of anybody thinking about doing one of those? Yes, you're doing it now. Yes, okay. So all of these things are important. Questions on that little section, on that type of products? Which ones are you thinking about doing?
All of them.
All of them. There you go. Okay.
And that's one thing, is you have to repurpose every one of these that you could do one thing of, it can be repurposed into the other 6 or 7 platforms. And in fact, you should, because I might like to read, but you might like to watch, you might like to listen, and those are your customers, or potential customers. So if you only make them read, then you lose all the watching the listeners.
The person who's the expert on that is Joan Stewart on publicityhound.com, and that's on your list of websites. Joan Stewart is the master at doing something once and pushing it out 8 different ways. She'll do it on the phone with someone, they'll have active live listeners, they'll sell it afterwards, and the 2 of them will send it off to be transcribed so that they have a written version, and then they will do voiceover on the materials. They will each produce it 4 or 5 different ways and put it on Amazon as well as their website. When they get finished, they have 10 new products from a 40-minute phone call. But you have to get used to it. That's what she's done. So if you check out what she's done and how she prices it, because she'll have the pieces a la carte, or you can buy them together. And she's spent the last 10 years doing this, so does a pretty good job. Check out Publicity Hound, Joan Stewart. Okay, let's talk about teleseminars or conference calls and webinars. Who's done teleseminar? A couple of you have done teleseminar. Did you find that it worked? Did people sign up for it? Were you able to market it and get somebody to sign up? But not as many as you did. And you may have done it a while ago when social media wasn't as strong as it is now. So using Twitter and Facebook and whatever to get more people sign up, because they can sign up from anywhere in the United States, right? So, did you have a good place to put your information? When I did mine, I found I had a problem because I didn't have a particular landing page where I wanted to put the information, that if I was gonna market it, and I was gonna do a shortened URL, you know, on Twitter, it needed to go somewhere, it needed to go to a landing page. Well, I didn't have a landing page because I didn't have the site up that it would fit with. So I used Reg Online, which I included on your list, I think. Reg Online gave me the choice of having a place for a landing page, as well as taking the registration and taking the money. So I didn't have to have a site up to do any of that. I was able to do that through Reg Online. So I could put it out there wherever I was marketing it. The people would go to that site, they could read about it, they could decide that they wanted it, they could click through, they could say, yes, I want it, they could sign up, they could pay their money. Reg Online kept track of it. They subtracted $6 per person for handling it and sent me a check for the rest. So that worked pretty well, right?
Another effective way to promote that is to say, this conference call may only be $50, but the resulting downloads that you can get to if you miss the conference call are $99. So that's another way to incentive to get them on the call.
And I'll pass this around, you're glad to, and you're welcome to look at it, glad to share. I had to have a lot of things in front of me while I was doing that so that I didn't make a mistake. And underneath the top page, was my intro, and on the back page was what I needed to say last. The content is in the middle, and if I hadn't had that all in front of me, I don't think I could wing it. I was trying to deliver a lot of content, so I had to have it totally laid out for me, like a radio person that's got a lot of content to deliver and has to have all of it right in front of them. Who's done a webinar? A couple of you. Software that you've used?
GoToMeeting.
GoToMeeting? And you like that? GoToMeeting
Yeah,
works
it's
well.
easy. It lets you record it, it lets you repackage it, it's easy to manage, it's not a free call unless you pay extra.
Yes. But there's a bunch of others out there, if anybody's tried some of them.
Well, and the not a free call turned out to be a non-issue because everybody has cell phones and all cell phones have free. So you just say, hey, if you call in on your cell phone, it's no charge if you have unlimited minutes. And then they all go, oh! And they call in on that versus a landline. You just have to tell them they can.
That works. Anybody else use one? How many people want to do a webinar? Bunch of you. So I had a request after we did the Making Money While You Sleep at Punderson to do a series of 2-hour workshops on each little tiny thing, which we're planning. In fact, I think Pat's going to host one of them for us. And so webinar, I've been asking a lot. That's one that it seems that a lot of people want to do that. So we'll make sure and put that in the series. Just a couple hours on a webinar, just that all by itself, so that all the steps to do it and the people that have done it can be in the room and some software around it.
We'll have to do a live webinar for it, so if you can't be there, you can still be there.
Exactly. Of course.
Say that again, Crystal. We'll have to do a live webinar of the webinar series, so that if you can't be there, you can still see it.
Okay, so let's define a podcast. We throw that term around a lot.